So Microsoft is set to end its Windows 11 Android subsystem. Something I had totally forgotten you could even do. You can run Android apps in Windows 11. This was announced 3 years ago, and looking back when I read the story, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. It can't it? I forgot it could even do this. So you could download Android apps from the Amazon App Store, and they ran in Windows 11. So as of March 5th, 2025, there will no longer be support for this. Microsoft is cutting it off. Apps past this date, apps will still work, but they won't be updated and won't be supported. So this was Microsoft's answer to iOS apps running in the M1 chips, running on Apple Silicon, which just works. Like it does. Because I was asking myself, I was like, have I ever done this? Have I ever done it in Windows? No. I was like, have I ever done it on iOS? I was like, yeah, I have. I didn't even realize I was doing it. Some iOS apps I have running on my machine were actually iOS apps. It's like, oh, it's just a seamless thing and it just works. And I hadn't really thought about it. So this was like Microsoft's answer for that. But it seems like they're now abandoning it. So, Bobby, you ever used any Android apps in Windows? Have you used any iOS apps on Mac?
Well, I don't know if I've done it on Mac. I haven't done it on Windows really at all. But I did a little research, and it looks like Google, the Google Play Store beta, you can install the Google Store on Windows. And so I know some guys that play games, and they run some Android games on there. One of those is called Arknights. It's like a tower defense game, and they play it a lot. And then this runs inside a Google Play Store, and you just run it, install it. It doesn't use the subsystem, though. It uses their own emulator.
Oh, and okay. So that's going to still work past this.
And then if it doesn't install, there's this like nightmare scenario of like where you're installing like Linux and stuff on your Windows. It's like, it's crazy the amount of stuff you have to do. You have to compile the code sometimes, like it's kind of funny. But yeah, you can do it. It does install right from Windows. Now I tried to install it this morning just for getting ready for this, see if I could run a game on my Windows PC.
Yeah.
My Windows PC runs an emulator because I run it on Parallels and I'm on a Mac.
Yeah.
It won't install on that.
Yeah.
Maybe I could have researched it more to get it going, but I didn't care enough to do it. So
right.
I don't think anyone's gonna like miss this from Windows.
I think there's like there's this point something percent of people who are gonna miss it, right? Yeah. And they're like, no, why are you getting rid of this? I need that one app that I've been using.
Yeah.
When you said this feature existed, I was like, what are you talking about? Like
right?
I didn't miss anything. Like with this story, I missed nothing because I had no idea it was a thing. And that's probably like majority of the people.
Yeah, I agree.
But pull up Google Play Store beta, and they'll show you like where you can there you go, the top link there. That's it. So this doesn't rely on that subsystem, and so it's their own thing. I think it's their own emulator, their own container running a version of Linux that you run and download and install, and it runs on Windows somehow.
Okay.
Can I ask a silly question?
Yeah.
Like, why the hell would you play mobile games on your PC?
I was going to say the same thing. I was like, who's this targeted at?
What are you doing?
If you're serious into like the game they play, Arknights, you can play it on your mobile device, which is fine. Or you can play it on your 24-inch monitor, and sit at your desk and do it.
Still a mobile game.
It's still cool, but like, they just want to use a bigger screen to do it. So
okay, again, this has to be such a niche product. I can't believe there's a massive amount of people doing this.
I don't know if they are or not, but that's apparently the replacement for it. And I think the big problem was for Windows is they picked the Amazon store because they probably couldn't come to an agreement with Google.
I'm sure.
And, this also uses Google Play services so that when you pay your money, it goes to Google, but it runs on Windows still. Right. And so that's the other thing that I guess Windows and Google couldn't come to an agreement on, who owns the store. And Amazon store wasn't that great, I think, is the main reason that it kind of failed.
So, Paul, you're not looking to get your Matchington mansion fix?
There you go, man.
That's screen.
Gather fancy decorations.
Dude,
that sounds like right up your alley.
Mobile games. Like, if it's like a true mobile game, I'm like, basically like a way to scam you out of money as if you're in a casino by
it's microtransaction hell, isn't it?
Yeah, microtransactions. I do have mobile games, and what they're actual remakes of like the actual games from PC. So there's a game called XCOM on PC that was amazing. I have it on my phone. It's like the same thing. It's not a mobile game. It's just the game that you play on your phone, but it's literally like the same desktop version. So like that's the
I can tell you there are two games that are like You may never heard of them. They're ridiculously large player bases, Genshin Impact and Arknights. So if you go down there, I saw Genshin
Yeah,
Impact.
this one for sure. I've heard of this. Yeah, I did play this
Yeah.
for a minute.
They are playing that like nobody's business, and that
But
is like it is a time suck and a like
But look at it. It says install on Windows.
through Google Play Store.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
It's not an
Yeah, it's
actual
through
Windows
this. No,
game.
it's through this. No,
Yeah.
it's through this. Yeah, it's through this emulator. Whatever this is called.
So that's the key. I mean, I think they're just, you know, it wasn't successful. Microsoft's cutting it off, and then Google has an answer. And
maybe that's why. Maybe they realize they're not just abandoning everybody. They just know that there's another solution to this. So
That's
most people
better.
are going to go do it over here.
yeah,
Because maybe it is majority of games. Because don't forget, the other one wasn't just games. It was you could run anything on it.
yeah,
It was any app, or I say any. I think it was still limited, just like the iOS ones are. You can't run
Yeah.
any iOS app on Mac. It's certain ones. It's the majority, but certain ones still don't work. So I'm assuming it's the same way with Windows.
and not all games in the Google Store are on this. So there are some. They do have to be
Okay.
approved and
Yep.
whatever it is. I mean, so there
Yep.
is a certain segment of the game population that's on this.